our latest graduate, who was part of this past event, and is our first graduate, the 41st, first graduate here in Hawaii, Liz Dacus, whose project, which we're going to be discussing here for this time now, is about the Hawaiian moon calendar and the integration of the Hawaiian moon calendar into the larger understanding of shamanic astrology. So you've been interested in this particular project for some time now, huh?
I have been interested in the Hawaiian moon calendar for over 4 years. Dear friend, cultural practitioner Kalani Souza had told me some things about the Hawaiian moon calendar, and I became very intrigued because it is a calendar that you can observe in the night sky. It's experiential, which I thought integrated wonderfully with shamanic astrology. And I became intrigued with the applications, not only for planting and fishing, but also perhaps the spiritual implications that we could integrate into the school's knowledge of the moon cycle. And my graduate project has become that integration of the two systems.
And we certainly made an amazing amount of progress on that just over this last week.
We certainly have. It was wonderful.
I'll mention something here as far as what we're up to with this. The Shamanic Astrology Mystery School is really interested in the experience of the night sky. So if it has to do with the moon, it's the moon you actually see, not some abstraction. And so the genesis of this particular research was we started off working with Rujar's groundbreaking work on the lunation cycle and discovered certain challenges with that Kaylin is going to discuss. And we also then took it to another level. We tried to actually work with an expansion of that based on the experience directly of the moon. But this inspiration that comes from the Hawaiian moon calendar seems to be the missing link to this. In the future, we do want to attempt to bring other aspects of the astrological mysteries into an experiential alignment. But I think we've got the key now to being able to work with the moon, wouldn't you say?
I would say so, yeah. One of the things that I'd started working with the moon cycle. I was very intrigued by it and was doing sun-moon angles for people when I'm doing sessions for them, and started noticing quite a few things, and also going out and being with the moon. And what I noticed was the full moon was full for 3 days, and it was full the day before it was exactly full. It was full the day it was full, and it was full the day after it was full. And so I started to realize that, wait a minute, my experience of this is not what using the 0 degrees for a new moon, 180 degrees for a full moon, the 90 degrees for the quarter moons, was, it actually started the day before. So experientially, we were having a different experience than those phases, so started to work with that. And that only looks really at 8 phases. So the thing that's great about the Hawaiian moon calendar is it looks at the whole 29.5 days.
There's a specialness to each day.
Yes.
Based on how the moon actually looks. So I can remember when you actually were doing a lot of the work on having the moon calendar and working with the moon be in alignment with what we see. The first revision that we made was like what you've just explained, like rather than the 3 moons following the exact full moon, to have the one before, middle, and after. But there's a problem around the new moon, where we were still having 3 around the abstract exact new moon rather than the first crescent.
The dark of the moon, yeah.
And in all the cultures that I know of the world that actually were working as earth people or traditional people or medicine traditions, new moon was the first visible crescent, as it is in the Hawaiian moon calendar. So we're making really huge adjustments on it now.
Yes, with the moon, the first tiny crescent, the Hilo moon, which is the first light. It's the first light of the moon in that small, tiny crescent. And so this is a land-based, again, observation. This is the new moon.
And to actually have a project where we can actually learn those moons directly from the experience of the moon rather than something entirely abstracted like Rajar's system, or even the original modifications that you were trying to make with it.
Plus we can then place people, you know, there's 29.5 days from new moon to new moon or full moon to full moon, and people are born somewhere in that phase, and we can locate them you know, by day and not just by a sort of a general range of time within a 3 or 4 day period, which is, and then each of those phases have their own meaning and way of working with them. So that'll be part of the further research as we go forward to see what that might mean to a person personally.
Right, right. For a person to know their personal moon day as well as the larger cycles of how that fits in.
Yes.
What a tremendous starting point for an actual experience-based astrology.
Right, and then you can actually go out into the night sky on the day that is your personal lunar birthday, if you will, and experience it and have that direct transmission, which shamanic astrology emphasizes. So that's really exciting.
The other thing that I found so interesting about working with the Hawaiian moon calendar is that it's emphasizing the 29.5 day moon cycle. The one that when you put it into a year is 12. Every other system that I'm aware of around the world in the history of astronomy and astrology that we're working with the moon, we're using the 27.3. So you have those ancient systems called lunar mansions that happened in India, that happened in Babylonia, that happened in Egypt. And they were using the 27.3, the movement of the moon through different constellational groups. But nobody's really watching that. I mean, on the level of how human beings actually are, what are we keeping track of? It's the phases of the moon. And so this is so perfect for what we're doing, is to actually work with the moon you actually see. That is to say, new moon to new moon, full moon to full moon. Or now, like today as we are speaking. Do you remember what the moon is today? I think it's the Mahalo.
It's Mohalo, I believe.
Yeah,
the day after
the Huna. So that there would be one of those every month. You know, every 29.5, there would be that one that would take place. And I can remember when we did your certification ceremony on the lava, I said, well, maybe we're already in the Huna moon. And Julie, who knows the exact shapes of the moon, says, no, it can't be, look.
It's the shape of the moon in the sky, which is holy Powell.
So you really have to be able to look at the moon to know which one it is.
Right.
So it really feels like we are at just the starting point of a great project. And I've been hoping we'd get to this point for a long time to be able to have this key to it. So what can we expect to happen next as far as what might be available to students or members of the school?
Well, in the near future, I'll be integrating both the shamanic astrology view on the moon and the Hawaiian moon calendar information, and I'll be able to create an article that can be posted on the website. And then I will be further integrating the information in a more extended way that can be incorporated into the school for everyone's use.
Yes.
And the experience that we all had in the workshop really was, it was felt in all of our direct experience, looking at the shape of the moon, figuring out what shape was there when we were born, and it's really exciting to take this information and integrate it and present it to all the people in the school. So,
and we have to remember here also that in shamanic astrology, the original sun-moon angle is the starting point to everything else. All the other relationships of the planets are measured from that relationship with the sun, and the basic one is the sun-moon angle.
Or meaning phase of the moon, for those who might not know what sun-moon angle is. And the other thing I just wanted to add was that it was really amazing in the workshop to see how excited people got, how alive they came, and being a part of this project. And how they all were so just present and excited to be a part of this sort of rediscovery of how we can work with the moon in a way that's more visual and personal and alive.
Well, very excited to wanting to share this with all of you out there, and certainly if you have any feedback, or maybe other researchers in the astronomy, astrology, or shamanic communities who have been working along similar veins, if you could be in touch with us, we'd love to hear from you. So until next time, next workshop, next YouTube. Aloha!
Ahui ho.